Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance, and this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Carol. And here's her story. Hi, Ollie. This is part 2 of my story. The narcissist makes you their servant. Ollie, I had a very hard childhood, not just with my mother, but with all the children in my school and neighborhood. I did not know anyone else in my community who was as light-skinned like me. And light-skinned, this is part of the racism I'm talking about within the black community. You want to talk about white people and color, and white people are obsessed about color? No. This is something that happens within the black community where the level of darkness or lack of, if you're light-skinned, if you're dark-skinned, it's this thing. No matter what shade you are of black, it's the wrong shade. You're too light, you're too dark, you're too this, you're too that. The light-skinned ones really get it. Really, really get it. Charlene, who's obviously very light-skinned, her whole family is black and dark-skinned. You know, they used to bring her to the villages of the Dominican Republic every summer. So, imagine that. I got teased for not being dark-skinned. They called me every name you could imagine. It made me want to be really dark black so I wouldn't have to stick out. My mother would lick her finger and rub my neck to see if there was dirt. No matter your skin tone, if you run someone's skin, it will always show dirt. I wondered why my mother didn't hate my brother when she started to have problems with my father. Why would she hate me? Also, since she hated being black, why didn't she marry a man who had a straight nose? Her nose wasn't straight. Her nose wasn't straight. My dad's nose wasn't straight. Her brother's nose wasn't straight. Why would my nose be straight? It wouldn't be. This is part of the internal racism that goes on. Okay? And where you're getting into now is where you're getting a lot of women who are talking about, you know, what's called swirling, where they're basically just giving up on black men and going with white guys. And if you're into white people, you're into what you're into. Okay? But when women do that, it seems more like they're trying to punish black men they're trying to punish black men, and because relationships didn't work out or whatever. But this has been going on actually for quite some time. It's not even a new thing, to be honest with you. This has been going on. This has been documented. If you go back and you research, black magazines, like Jet, I mean, they were talking about for black women, how to get with a white guy back in the 50s and 60s, believe it or not. And I mean, I've seen the covers, I've seen it. I mean, this is not a new thing, but it's something that has been permeating within the black community, and especially with black women and light-skinned black women like Carol. They get it brutally. You know what it is? It's jealousy, really. And there really shouldn't be any reason to be jealous because you look like what you look like. But within the black community, lighter skin matters. To them. To them it matters. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. But that is, that self-racism within the black community that you hear over and over and over again from the black people on my channel. It's so ironic that growing up in Jamaica, I was ostracized for being almost white. Now, almost half of dark-skinned Jamaicans are bleaching to look like me. Their self-hatred sickens me. And that's exactly what it is. It's self-hatred. I have to make it clear that my mother was considered great by the way her father treated her. Therefore, her siblings adored her and believed everything she said. Mommy had 2 favorite sisters, one in London, childless, one in Jamaica with 9 children. When mommy needed someone to accompany me at home, she and her Jamaican sister decided that my 7-year-old cousin, Paulette, would be the one to come live with us. I was a 6-year-old. Paulette was a year older than me. Paulette's birthday was on the 22nd and mine the 24th of the same month. My mother celebrated our birthdays on the 23rd each year. We didn't have separate birthdays. Mommy purchased a car even before she had a driver's license. Paulette always sat in the front with her. One day I asked her why I can't sit in the front. Her response was that since Paulette was not her real child, she didn't want anyone thinking she was treating Paulette worse than me. But they never, see, here's the thing. That's an amazing line. And it goes with all narcissists. Okay, when they treat somebody else better than their own children, because that's what they worry about. They can't even see how they're being perceived abusing their own children because they're so obsessed with being nice to people outside the family. They don't even see it. Mommy was always concerned about appearance and academics. Paulette and I dreaded our report card getting to mommy. We had to sit at the dining room table and study even when she went to bed. Most times we just put our heads on the table and slept after she went to bed. My brother Lloyd did not have such fear. When our report card came, they were not at the highest grade. She beat Paulette and me with a belt, and she had specifically made by a shoemaker, Brother Derek. It was beige and made from leather. I'm not sure who named it, but it was called Scorpion. She beat us for poor grades. Paulette ran around the house to avoid being hit. I stood still and took my beating, refusing to cry. I cried like bloody murder after she left. Lloyd was a worse student than us. She always took Lloyd to the side of the house to confront him about his grades. Paulette and I hid and peeked through the window and noticed that she was speaking to him and didn't beat him. That angered us, and we developed a hatred for Lloyd. That's because, and I'll tell you this, because she was afraid she was going to get hit back. Jamaican men will swing back. I've seen it. I've seen a lot of them get son husbanded, and I've seen a lot of them come violent like that. Jamaican men will hit back. So this just goes to show you that your mother knew she was being violent because she could get away with it. Understand something. The narcissist very rarely runs into a buzzsaw where they get there, they write a check their ass can't cash. I mean, it happens, and when it happens, they are fucking stunned. They are stunned, and you can see the fear in their eyes when it happens. Why does it happen? Because they're not expecting it to happen. Because they think they can physically die. They beat you because they think they can. That's why. If they couldn't control their rage and their violent outbursts, you've seen people who've written checks that they can't catch, their asses can't catch, repeatedly doing it, who don't learn. That's not the narcissist. Without any explanation, Mommy took Lloyd to live in England when he was 15 years old. Lloyd lived with Mommy's favorite sister in London. Paulette and I were 12 and 13. We didn't know why, but he was gone. She traveled quite often to visit Lloyd in London. She'd brag about how well Lloyd was doing there. We had no way of verifying her claim, so we hated Lloyd more. When I was 13 years old during Jamaica's long summer break, Mommy took me to England to spend the holiday. I was happy to see my big brother. He treated me well. We were supposed to spend the summer break. However, after 1 week, my aunt complained about Lloyd, that he was staying out late at night, etc. I've never seen my mother so angry. She quarreled with her sister, cried, the works. The next day, Mommy went to the travel agency and changed our flight to leave England 2 days later. Needless to say, I was so disappointed that I didn't get to spend 10 days in London. Mommy couldn't stay because she refused to hear anything bad about dear Lloyd. But she left Lloyd there? I'm going to stop here as it's too painful to do this in one setting. I'll continue in a few days. I must tell you that Lloyd and I didn't develop a relationship until after my mother's death in 2007. Happy 2018 to you and Charlene. Sincerely, Carol. Well, without knowing the future, what's going on with Lloyd, I would question if something happened with Lloyd in Jamaica that got him sent to England to begin with in the first place. You know, your mother wouldn't confront him, had no problem beating you and Paulette, but got in her sister's face, but left Lloyd there. I wonder where this rabbit hole leads, because if you're saying it's already too painful, this story is obviously going to get much, much, much worse. Okay? But the narcissist knows. Your mother knew what she could get away with who of her children, with which of her children. She didn't hit Lloyd because she was afraid of him. She was afraid he'd get hit. She'd hit him back. He'd reject her. I'd question why she sent him to England to begin with, because that's kind of sketchy. The sister's complaining that he's not listening, so she yells at her and then leaves him there. There's more to this story. I think we're going to find out. But understand something. The narcissist never writes a check they can't cash. Their ass can't cash. Usually. When they do, and they're called on it, they're usually in for the shock of their life because they're not expecting it. They're expecting to be able to bully and dominate you forever. Forever. So, excuse me. Thank you for another contribution and story. I really appreciate it. I hope this helps. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up Skype, a phone call, have a private video made, or a Facebook live chat, or you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to help keep it growing, expanding, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been the Narcissistic Resistance.